Animal products, including red meat, are vital for our health. That is what I say in many of my videos, but the carnivore diet has some serious downsides for your health in the long run, especially the way most people eat on it. So I don't want to scare you, I just want to give you the knowledge that you need in order to stay healthy, and so therefore I'm gonna cover the 6 main downsides of the carnivore diet. Some time ago, when my health was really bad, my digestion was completely screwed up, and I looked deeper and deeper into dieting, found out about the carnivore diet alongside with keto and paleo. I was hooked. I thought that this was the best diet to be on, and I would have jumped right onto the train if I've had the money at that time. Now I'm really glad that I didn't do that at that time, because I just didn't have the knowledge that I have now. By the way, I focus on the only meat or animal products carnivore diet. There are other types out there that include fruits and certain plant foods, not the topic of today. And also none of my points include anything about saturated fats or cholesterol, because people blaming them for disease is laughable at most. My first point is what most people comes to their mind when considering the carnivore diet. That is the price, and more specifically the price related to the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. If you are on the carnivore diet or you're considering it, you have most likely heard of the negative effects of seed oils, so I don't have to explain that to you in detail. Seed oils are high in omega-6, especially linoleic acid, causing a lot of issues, especially because most modern diets are lacking omega-3s like EPA and DHA. Now, if you want to go carnivore, even if you only eat beef muscle meat all day, you need to spend a good amount of money. The most important aspect about any diet is the food quality. If the food quality sucks, any diet sucks. And if there's anyone out there telling you the opposite, that there's no difference between your supermarket conventional meat and grass-fed, grass-finished meat from local farms, then go unsubscribe that person right now, because he's completely lying to you. Animals, just like humans, build their tissue from the food that they obtain. Now, cattle need grass. That is their natural food. If they don't consume that food, they are not perfectly healthy. Just like humans, the base of our nutrition is meat, organs, etc. If we don't consume that, we are not perfectly healthy. You've probably understood that by now. Now, if these cattle are now fed grains or even worse, soy, their fat storages become the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Grains have small amounts of fat and around 40 times the amount of omega-6s to omega-3s, and soy somewhere around that, plus the estrogens and the other toxins that these animals are getting from that food. High omega-6 leads to overeating, a ton of inflammation. So please go for nothing less but grass-fed, grass-finished from local farms. At least your organic stuff from the supermarket. Of course, you can get some fish to balance out your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, which is the healthier version of the carnivore diet anyways, but most fish is just really polluted, and non-polluted seafood is very expensive and very hard to get in our modern times. And anyways, for most people, it's way too expensive. Now, the second point is another obvious point, and that is high protein consumption. Here are some studies showing that excess protein leads to all sorts of issues, especially stressing the kidneys and liver a lot. Protein digestion needs a lot more enzymes to digest than carbohydrates or fat, for example, and therefore also requiring higher pancreatic function and a very diverse gut microbiome that a lot of people don't have anymore. If protein doesn't get digested, it will sit in your stomach and produce inflammatory compounds, stressing your digestive system a lot and also your immune system. Even if it does get digested, it produces high amounts of ammonia, uric acid, and urea, which are a byproduct of protein metabolism, and they really stress your kidneys a lot. Kidneys cannot repair, and until you're close to kidney failure, you will most likely have absolutely no symptoms. So this is really dangerous. Now, don't get me wrong, you and I, we both need protein, but an excess has absolutely no benefits. Your excess protein is just being turned into sugar via a process called gluconeogenesis. The protein is just being turned into fuel. You would literally be better off just eating ice cream. Seriously. We have a lot of external stressors in our modern times, and we want to reduce organ stress as much as possible. High omega-6 fatty acid intake makes this whole thing a lot worse, by the way, because of the overeating factor. And even though it is very satiating, it doesn't mean it's healthy, and people really need to change their viewpoint about health. Health doesn't just mean being low on body fat. You can be really sick and low on body fat. I'm the best example for this. When I used to have a lot more muscle, I felt like crap even though I really didn't look like it. But my digestive system and my whole health was screwed up a lot. So health is really everything. So one way to fix this is to just get most of your calories from fat if you want to stay on the carnivore diet. And again, make sure it's high quality fat so that it has a good omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. In general, just be mindful of your protein intake. You don't want to eat lean muscle meat all day on the carnivore diet. That's also very unnatural in the perspective of food excess. And this is kind of where genetics might come into play, because this much fat can lead to bile acid diarrhea for some people. The third point is high iron or excess iron, and I would rank this as the #1 downside to the carnivore diet. We have a very important enzyme in our body called Ceruloplasmin. This is really the absolute most important enzyme for iron metabolism. Now forget what anyone ever told you. Iron is the worst heavy metal. You know, there's things like mercury, aluminum, arsenic, but iron is the worst of them. This might confuse you because of all of the people being anemic and needing to take iron supplements. The medical term for iron overload is hemochromatosis, and excess iron accumulates in the brain, liver, heart and other organs and leads to a lot of oxidation, which is very bad. That's why they tell you that you need antioxidants. So leads from arrhythmias to heart failure, liver failure, arthritis, diabetes, or problems with any other organ like the spleen, for example, erectile dysfunction, and gray or bronze skin. This condition is by no means uncommon and impossible to measure. You would actually have to do an MRI scan or a liver biopsy. Most of us, especially men, have stored iron unless you were vegan for a very long time. What we are really lacking, especially people being anemic, is copper to activate the iron, or actually the oxygen. So while iron transports the oxygen to the cell, copper activates it. And ceruloplasmin plays a big role for both of these metals in our body. Not to confuse you, we need iron, but a lot less than someone gets on the carnivore diet. And this thing gets worse if you are consuming grain-fed animal products, especially red meat. They tend to have higher iron and lower zinc than grass-fed. Now we can get rid of around 1.2 milligrams of iron per day, and 400 grams of beef already has 10 milligrams, and you absorb around 25%, meaning you get around 2.5 milligrams, and 1.3 milligrams of that accumulates in your liver. And you can only get rid of 1.2 milligrams of iron per day if your ceruloplasmin is actually working on its highest activity, I would say. Zinc, a very important trace mineral that is also very abundant on the carnivore diet, just like iron, is antagonistic to copper, meaning it bumps out the copper even more. After a few months of zinc supplementation, I got red eyes and black shadows underneath my eyes because I was so copper deficient. I really looked like a zombie, and honestly, I felt like one as well. Copper is in higher amounts in certain seafood, plant foods and organs you most likely don't have access to, like the intestines, maybe the spleen and pancreas. Liver and kidneys are accessible and they have higher bioavailable copper, but note that they have high iron and zinc as well, and liver has high vitamin A content. Therefore, you can't eat a lot of that or you're gonna get liver damage as well. Now I'm gonna put a link to someone called Frank Tufano down in the description who got liver damage because of this type of diet. Again, it's not to scare you, just for you to understand that this is something serious. As with many things, the diet is not the only factor for unbound iron in the body. The biggest would be RF EMFs, so our Wi-Fi, our routers, etc., because they act via calcium channel activation. For more information, check out this video. and a lack of sunlight and artificial blue light exposure that we are all getting way too much of. If you want more information about this whole iron and copper thing, check out Molly Robbins, founder of the Root Cause Protocol. Now, a fix to this whole situation would be a copper supplement, reduce blue light, get some sun exposure, and again, watch this video to protect yourself from the RF EMFs. Another important thing to note is that women lose iron during their period, and well, men obviously don't, so that's why you want to give blood to get rid of excess iron in your body, especially when you are on the carnivore diet, and that also includes females. Early signs of a liver overload would be headaches, histamine issues, maybe jaundice in the eyes, so that's yellowing of the eyes, just overall being very fatigued. And depending on the current state of the toxins in your body, these problems might come faster. Now that is the perfect transition to the next point, which is a lack of detox due to a lack of fiber. Most people know fiber as the food for your gut microbiome, but another really important aspect of fiber, especially in our modern times, is its ability to chelate toxins. So first of all, why do you need to detox anyways? Where are all of these toxins coming from? That is the insecticides, pesticides, preservatives, heavy metals, plastics, chemicals, and so on from our food and water supply. Just take a look at this list to get an idea of how many things are out there. And the sources are water, air, food, cosmetics, so you even absorb them through the skin. And they come from your past diet and lifestyle, and maybe even your current as well. You need to understand that we don't live in an ancestral environment anymore. Our soil quality is really, really bad, and we are getting way too many toxins. These are things that weren't present in the lives of our ancestors, but most people, especially online, seem to overlook this. Of course, in general, you want to reduce the toxins, not just detox. Otherwise, you're gonna stay on a detox forever. So again, go for high quality food in terms of meat, grass-fed, grass-finished. So again, to get back to the liver detox, our liver absorbs fat-soluble toxins from our food, etc., and stores them in fat tissue to protect the other organs. Now, to get rid of these toxins, it turns the fat-soluble toxins into water-soluble toxins or waste products and puts it into bile, which the gallbladder then sends through the intestines with the hope of them being absorbed by the food and being carried out through the bowel movement. For them to be absorbed properly, you need fiber and maybe even starches, but especially soluble fiber. For more information on that, you can check out my liver detox video. The next point is your gut microbiome. Your intestines are kind of like a tunnel that your food is traveling through, and on its walls are a ton of bacteria. The colon has a lot more bacteria, but some people overlook that there's bacteria strains in the small intestine as well. Now, these microbes have many benefits. They make serotonin, help you to detox and digest food, produce B vitamins, produce vitamin K2, and so on. Just like most living beings, they need food to survive. Basically, your gut microbiome is adapted to the food that you're consuming. When you have a gut microbiome that is adapted to sugar and fiber, your microbes mostly consume sugar and fiber. When you eat a lot more meat, your microbes are more adapted to the high iron content and some of the remainders of meat. In general, animal products do not offer a lot of food for your microbes, leading to some of them dying and others adapting to meat. Meaning, when you eat sugar again, you will feel really, really bad after some time or a long time being on this diet. It's basically getting worse and worse over time because you don't have the bacteria to digest sugar that well anymore. Now, that is one of the reasons why the Inuit, an indigenous group which mainly ate fish and meat, had animal products every single day for the probiotics, for the microbes that were on the rotten meat. Meaning, if you cut down on sugar and fiber, you need probiotics, and milk kefir, which is a very strong, very potent probiotic, can be a good alternative here, but you need the lactose. Again, maybe you're lactose intolerant, and I know some people might be able to overcome the lactose intolerance due to the microbes. Digesting the lactose, still kind of a concern. Not easy at this point, but you want to make sure that you have a healthy gut microbiome. That is so important, and A lot of people don't have that anymore, again, due to this EMF crap. These are living microbes and they are very small and very sensitive to any kind of energy, including Wi-Fi, etc. Now the last point is another very important one, and that is nutrient synergy. So you may have been told that animal products have most nutrients, and that is absolutely correct. 100 points. What you've most likely not been told is that they do not come in the correct ratios and some of them are missing entirely. Here's a list of the essential minerals we need to function properly and feel good. All of these nutrients have to be in a certain ratio. In nature, we would just go for natural cravings, still a thing, but often you cannot fix a deficiency because of the poor soil quality. The carnivore diet is very high in iron, sulfur, vitamin A, zinc, B vitamins. Selenium is okay, but usually gets deficient in the long run, alongside with molybdenum, just like copper, manganese and iodine, unless you eat a lot of seafood. So again, the healthy version of carnivore is with lots of seafood, but seafood has major pollutant concerns and therefore you might not want to go carnivore at all. Now it's incredibly important to have all of these nutrients in the correct ratios, especially for perfect cellular health. These are essential minerals, so your body depends on them. It cannot function properly without them. Another thing that's usually deficient on the carnivore diet is vitamin C. You get some, but not enough, and magnesium and boron are very deficient as well. You could fix the boron deficiency and the vitamin C deficiency by having some fruits like apples, oranges, etc. from time to time. For the magnesium, just have a supplement. It's not possible to obtain normal amounts of magnesium anymore by the diet or water. Kind of sad. So my final words are: the carnivore diet is a lot healthier than other diets, especially the ones that we can see being pushed in the mainstream media, but it is by far not perfect, and that basically originates from people not explaining it well enough and not giving you the full picture. These are the things that a healthy diet should include, in my opinion, also based on environmental factors, and this is what my diet targets. A healthy version of the carnivore diet is only achievable with a lot of seafood, and overall, when you lose your ability to digest sugar, you become this weirdo that can't even travel to another country because he's not getting the food that he's normally eating. I mean, you can't even digest ice cream or pizza as a cheat meal anymore. It's very extreme, and before you go on any type of very extreme diet, fix other parts of your life. Get on a healthy diet that includes high quality animal products, of course, and focuses on correcting nutrient balances because they are really at the heart of most modern health conditions. Get more sun, get EMF protection. Really, do you just buy it one time and improve your health drastically? You can't fix your digestion without addressing EMF. Do some physical activity and you will most likely be healthy enough. If you then still decide to go on a high-fat diet, you can still do that. If you can't digest carbohydrates or sugar again, and that was before the carnivore diet, your gut microbiome was most likely messed up before the carnivore diet, you can check out my upcoming video about a very, very healthy drink that might fix your problem. In my case, it fixed my insulin resistance completely and I'm still eating sugar and carbohydrates. Overall, it's great that you and other people on the carnivore diet realize the health benefits of meat and other animal products, but there is new knowledge, and sugar is not the devil, okay? The root causes of your problems are not sugar, it's rather seed oils, this EMF crap, blue light, all of these chemicals in our food supply. Our grandparents lived way too long for sugar to be the devil. Anyways, for more information on a healthy, sustainable diet, check out my other videos or write me an email for private health consultations, and have a great day.